guys? Welcome back. We haven't seen each other for a while. Welcome back. I'm Holly Golightly. Thanks for stopping by. I do know that I look exactly like I looked in the last video that you saw of me, and it is because I am pre-recording this to make sure that I don't forget to film anything and come October have no video. So, let's begin. Today I am sharing with you a fragrance house, a discovery set. These are not the entire collections from this house. They are a collection within the house. If I'm being confusing, it's because I am confusing. But what I'm talking about is the house of Panouge, Paris, and the fragrance collection of the MATIERES. So this is a set of 4 fragrances from Panouge, Paris, and it says that 2 of the fragrances were created by Marie Schnier, and 2 by Patrice Rivière from Maelstrom. Using unexpected, rich, raw materials, they have let their limitless creativity to go wild by breaking the established conformism. Each fragrance is named after the 2 main ingredients. The collection is an art prism where perfume, painting, music, and even movies are expressed. So I had noticed the Panouge Paris fragrances in the MATIERES line last year when they were released in 2020 or late 2019. I believe they were released in the very beginning of 2020. I was interested because one of the fragrances is Absinthe Gaiac, which caught my eye, being an absinthe fragrance. But when I got the sample set, which, by the way, please go show Tammy Loves Fragrance on Instagram some love, because she was the one who gave me the heads up about these samples. They were actually free on the Panouge Paris website. You just paid shipping, which was €14.95 in euros. It came out to about $21. I don't even think it was that much. It was like $17 American dollars. And anyway, I'll link Tammy Loves Fragrances down below. So yeah, go show her some love. So it came with the sample set came with this information card about the fragrances. It has all the information about the notes. And then it came with the 4 fragrances in individual boxes. And I believe these are a 2-ounce sample. 2 ml sample. Yes, they are. Not 2 ounce. These are a 2 ml sample. So a good size. Price of shipping can't be beat. I have already tested all of these on my skin. I already have very firm opinions on the fragrances, and I definitely know which ones I'm going to go forward with making a purchase in the future and which ones I'm going to probably pass on. But I do want to say I was so happy to find out that you can now order these fragrances directly from the Panouge Paris website, because in the past when I was looking to purchase Absinthe Gaiac, the only place I could find that shipped to the US was Jovoy, and their shipping was an arm and a leg. I think like $40 on top of a €120 fragrance. It was too much, so I never did order, and I'm so glad because I was able to sample and I have some serious thoughts. So let's get right into them. The first one I'm going to sample is Rose Agatha. Actually pronounced Rose Agathe, and I do it wrong for a long time. So Rose Agatha is created by Marie Schnier. So sorry. And this fragrance, let me read to you the description. The opening reveals a lively and bold metal accord, highlighted by a spicy combination of elemi and black pepper. The majestic and vibrant heart highlights rose and geranium. The opulent background oscillates between the clear facets of a mineral accord and the darker side of leather, ebony, wood, and laudanum. So, darker sides of leather, ebony, wood, the darker sides of leather, ebony, wood, and laudanum. Marie says about the fragrance, I wanted to work on an urban rose, a rose that would grow in the asphalt in the heart of a city with a hectic pace. If Rose Agatha was music, is Agatha? Yeah.
Again, this is called Rose Agathe.
Rose Agatha. If Rose Agatha was a music, it would be Thunder by Catnap. If Rose Agatha was a city, it would be Berlin, the metropolis of boundless creativity. And if Rose Agatha was a fabric, it would be a metal dress. So, the fragrance is actually built on the notes of wild rose and the agate stone. That's the mineral quartz. So anyway, the notes for the fragrance are at the top, a metal accord, elemi, and black pepper. The heart has rose oxide, rose, geranium, incense. The base has ebony wood accord, mineral accord, leather, and laudanum. The olfactory family is woody and floral. It is spicy, peppery, metallic at the top. I do not know what elemi is supposed to smell like. I have a feeling it's one of those notes that has a distinct scent that I just don't know that I'm smelling it. But this is exactly how they describe it. Metallic and peppery at the top, and then as it dries down, the heart notes of rose and the rose oxide come through. But the rose really doesn't hang around too long. It's not really like a heavy or jammy rose. It's present in the moment, and then as the base comes through, you definitely get the leather and the more heavy mineral and laudanum, just those more rich facets of floral notes. Ebony wood is funny because I don't know if ebony wood actually has its distinct fragrance, like if you burn it, but it's like you see the words ebony wood and you smell it and you're like, okay, yeah, absolutely. This is not a safe blind buy. None of these are safe blind buy, and I don't know if anyone would blind buy them, seeing as you do have to buy them from the French website. This is one that I would wear the heck out of, though. And people would probably be like, oh god, no. I can see this being offensive to people around you. That's what I'm going to say about this. Be careful if this was your jam, if Rose Agatha was your jam, be careful. It's so good, though. I love this. It has that really mineral sort of note that I like, a kind of cool metallic note. I really like it. I really do. Anyway, the next one that we're going to look at is Patchouli Figue. Where is it? Here it is. So Patchouli Figue comes with the yellow box. Rose had the pink box, of course. Patchouli Figue has the yellow box. So this one, what does it say? Sprinkled with cocoa, the patchouli gives the fragrance a mysterious and dark appearance, balanced by the juicy and luminous notes of an autumn pear and a summer fig. So fruity, juicy, but also rich and earthy. So Patchouli Figue also was done by Marie. I'm not going to try again with her last name. And if Patchouli Figue was a fabric, says that it seems to be a cashmere stole on the skin. And if Patchouli Figue was a music, it would be No Milk Today by Herman's Hermits. And if Patchouli Figue was a scene, it would be an ode to small Greek village Vasiliki on the island of Lefkada. She says, this fragrance reminds me of the month of September, a special time of the year, a moment of transition, a period marked by the end of summer and the beginning of fall when the air gets cooler and humid. I think that's really beautiful. I'm filming this in September now, so I think that's really beautiful. So let's take a sniff. I didn't like the way that this one worked on my skin, but it's quite pretty on paper. On my skin, it smelled messy. I couldn't really get a clear note of anything. It just kind of had like a smell that was like sort of green and sort of chocolatey. On paper, it's beautiful. So on paper, this does smell green, fresh, but also sweet, rich. The top notes are fig leaf, rhubarb, and pear. The heart is fig milk and jasmine. The base is patchouli, cocoa, amber, and cedar. And the olfactive family is fruity oriental. Yeah. I'm going to try this on my skin again because I want it to play on my skin the way that it's showing up on paper. This is beautiful on paper. I will say that all of these fragrances had really good longevity on my skin. Patchouli Figue projected very well. Rose Agatha projected very well as well. The other two did not, but they all lasted until I scrubbed them off. So Absinthe Gaiac here says the invigorating opening, slightly bitter, green, and full of elegance, is provided by absinthe and violet leaf notes. They extend to a generous and noble heart of leather and rose before blending into the oriental and woody notes. The scent profile, the things that you're supposed to take away here are the gayak flower and the patchouli leaves. Gayak is a flowering tree, I believe, or woody bush. I'm not sure how you put it. The patchouli fig, you were supposed to have the fig and the patchouli. Quite straightforward. All right, let's crack this open. So this was done by Patrice Rivard, who says, I wanted a perfume built on a set of contrasts. The warm and mesmerizing notes of amber and leather are opposing the freshness of absinthe, nutmeg, and violet leaf. If Absinthe Gaiac was a movie, it would be The Wild One by Laszlo Benedict, starring Marlon Brando playing a rebel leader of bikers. Oh, I love Marlon Brando. If Absinthe Gaiac was a place, it'd be the green desert of Sonora, Arizona, and its fascinating beauty. And if it was a fabric, it would be a soft leather. Love, love, love. Let's get a sniff. So again, I'm really glad that I didn't blind buy Absinthe Gaiac because when I put it on my skin, I was very unhappy. So let's see if it's different on paper. No, it's not. So I'm really glad I didn't blind buy it. This is okay. It's not an offensive fragrance. I think that Rose Agatha would be more offensive. Agatha, Agate, rose agate. Hold on. Literally just double checked, and it is pronounced agate. So rose agate would be more, I think, offensive to other people, and also maybe to the wearer. Absinthe Gaiac isn't going to be offensive to anyone, but it's not the fragrance I was expecting or hoping for. The top notes are absinthe and violet leaf. The heart notes are rose, leather, and nutmeg. The base is amber, gayak, musks, patchouli, and vetiver. The olfactive family is leather, oriental. This is so powdery. It's very green and powdery in the top, but it doesn't have any of like the anise or wormwood sort of licorice note that you attribute to anise-based liquors like absinthe. It doesn't smell like that at all. So it smells green like the wormwood, but none of the anisey type of scent. So it's just kind of powdery and green at the top, and there's no spiciness to it whatsoever. I don't really get any sort of like nutmeg or even like leather note. It just goes straight from the powder to a sort of musky patchouli. I just don't like it. I really don't care for it, and I was honestly shocked to find that the Absinthe Gaiac fragrance was the one I liked the least out of all 4 of these scents. The last one that I've got here was last by measure of, luck, but is actually my favorite. So what they say about in this little card about Absinthe Gaiac, it says an invigorating opening, slightly bitter, green, and full of elegance is provided by absinthe and violet leaf notes. They extend to a generous and noble heart of leather and rose before blending into the oriental and woody notes. I did read that already, but it's quite accurate. The only thing is, I would say that there is not a lot of the leather and rose present. But yeah, it's definitely very green, little bitter, powdery. It is somewhat off-putting in my opinion. It's not my favorite. But the last one is my favorite. So this is Datura Amaretti. So this is Datura Amaretti. And this is taking the fragrances of the Amaretti and the Datura flowers. It looks like they're both flowers. And let's see what they have to say. The sweet blend of bitter almond and cherry captivates and mesmerizes as if falling into a trap. The poisonous Datura flower exacerbates its fast to seduce and hypnotize. So this was also done by Patrice Revillard, and he says, I wanted a perfume built on a set of contrasts. The warm and mesmerizing notes of amber and leather are opposed by freshness of... This is not the right... That's not the right quote. That's the same quote as for Absinthe Gaiac. It does say, if Datura Amaretti was a movie, it would be The Queen Margot by French filmmaker Patrice Chéreau about the tragic fate of Queen Marguerite de Valois, a free and loving woman. And if it was a fabric, it would be a fabric that would represent it the best, velvet. So let's take this velvety fragrance and give it a spritz. This is my favorite. This one smelled the best on skin, on me. This one and the rose agate. On my skin, there is definitely a cherry note at the top, but it does dry away quickly, and it becomes much more gourmand. This is the most gourmand of the 4 fragrances for sure. The fig is close because it has that really nice cacao note, but this is slightly more so. The notes they have for it are mandarin, cherry in the head, datura, and ylang ylang at the heart. That makes sense because ylang ylang is a super buttery floral to me in my nose. And at the base, almond, biscuit accord, musks, and cedar. It's the Olfacte family floral sheep gourmand. Oh, this smells like, this does. It smells like baking. It smells so comforting. So, my favorites in order would be Datura Amaretti, and then depending on how it actually turns out to perform on my skin, a tie between Rose Agate and Patchouli Figue, and then in last place, Absinthe Gaiac. It's just not for me. It really didn't do anything for me. Um, so these fragrances are €107.50, and they are available on the Panouge Paris website. I'm going to link the website below. I'm also going to link directly to the fragrances and also to the set. Now, I don't know if by the time you see this video, if this set will be available. I don't know if it will still be free, minus cost of shipping. But I'm going to link it anyway, because with this price point, anytime you're buying from abroad and you have to pay a hefty shipping fee, it's always good to try before you buy, because it's going to be hard to unload it if you don't like them. It's not a well-known brand, it's not a hyped-up brand, but it is really nice. These products are so nice, and I definitely think that you should try them if you would like to broaden your fragrance horizons. One thing I will say also, the sample set did ship from the US for me. So if you decided to order online and you live in the continental US, it may ship from the US to you, which is annoying that they're charging the shipping from the Euro, like in the European website for euros, but it is what it is. Hopefully that if they can have a distributor here in the US soon, that might go away. Anyway, I've talked long enough. That was the MATIERES set from Panouge Paris. We had the 4 Patchouli Figue, Datura Amaretti, Absinthe Gaiac, and Rose Agate. Definitely give these a go if you're interested in a unique sensory experience. I have nothing else to say. I do recommend the products to you for sure. Like I said, they lasted a long time, and they did have some projection, some intense projection on a few of them. So I think it's worth it. Give it a go. All right. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for being here to see me today. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you again very soon. Let me know if you have any video topics you'd like to see covered in the description bar down below. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.